I'm tired, y'all. I haven't slept in 5 to 7 days. I've gotten like 4 hours of sleep each night, and I am a corporate recruiter who's reviewing your resume. So, fair warning to you all, I'm going to miss some obvious stuff when I review this, but if your resume is good enough to get past somebody that is getting distracted by anybody jingling keys in front of them, good job, you have a fantastic resume. So, this is a C#.NET software engineer resume, and I review non-tech as well, but tech is cooked right now, so like 90% of the resumes are in tech. So for a C#.NET software engineer, I need about 75% of these to move you forward, and I need to see these in bullet points under a job that shows how you use them and the reason or result of you using them, or an internship or a project. If I do not see it under those things, it does not count. Also, this person did not dox themselves. This is a Cyberpunk reference, which amazing show. Loved it. That song makes you cry now every time you hear it. So, recruiters only have 20 seconds to find what they need in your resume. Can I find .NET, C#, SQL, Cloud, any of them, MVS, Git, Agile, RESTful API, CI/CD, front end. I don't know why they want front end, but they do. JavaScript, HTML, CSS, cross-functional DevOps, and ASP.NET in 20 seconds, in complete bullet points, in a how, reason, and result format. I have no idea. They did not tell me the ratio, which is how many applications it takes to get an interview. So that's how you tell how good your resume is. Ideally, you want 1 to 50 at a minimum. So for every 50 applications, it takes one interview. And let me get my stuff up and go. Okay. Bachelor's Computer Science. Okay, good. Develop UI components for talk about animation tools. Okay. Create an architect diagram as participate in agile development. No, not good way to write it. Thoughtfully managed Git. What do you mean thoughtfully? Implement a data visualization for using priority. Okay. This is not bad. This is awful, horrible resume delete, but there are some flaws with this. But you do also do a lot of things right. So let me read what you wrote. And it says, I want to know if you think this resume looks good for mid-level positions and entry-level. And I'd say no, but not the, again, this is not the worst. The junior role on my resume was unpaid. I've applied to about 50 positions, but I've had no luck. You still need to apply to more. Again, you should be applying to 50 positions a week. That should be the goal. I haven't applied with this resume yet. Okay, so you have not applied with this one yet. Thank you for reviewing my resume. No worries. So here's what you did right. Here's what you did wrong. So what you did right is you did actually tell me what you used, and you told me how you use them. My problem is a lot of these are not showing the reason and result, and for a large amount of these, you don't really tell me, you don't tell me enough of these, because what you want is 3 to 6 of these in each bullet point, and a lot of these only have one. So when you're being a tech person, right, you need your tech stack like in the first half of this. So I would say developed a administration tool using C#.NET and SQL, which is good, and then maybe you could put in 1 or 2 other things for our UI for a tugboat, whatever that is, right? I need a little bit more context. And then created an architecture diagram of Azure backgrounds. Kind of okay. What do you mean created an architect diagram of Azure backgrounds? I don't think I've ever seen a software engineer write it like that. I want you to write it instead a little bit more like created the diagrams for an Azure backend architecture so that our team could do X and Y. But like, how does this improve team communication? Like, why? You don't tell me how it helps. I need to know how it helps. Participated in agile development? No. I want you to say blah, 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 using X, Y, and Z in an agile environment. That's what you need to say in an agile environment. Thoughtfully managed Git. That is, I have literally never heard anybody write it like that. That is, just don't, no. Just say in an agile environment and used Git to X and Y, right? Again, what is smooth collaboration? That's too broad. What is smooth collaboration? I don't know. You didn't tell me. Implemented data visualization for managing cargo using JavaScript, HTML, CSS. Again, this one should be bundled up into this, right? This should be in the first sentence. These should be together. And then I still want to know, like, why you, like, what was the reason or, like, what was the impact of that? And again, impact is not a number or percentage. Prioritize user experience through iterative feedback with a business expert. That doesn't really add anything, and I think you can safely delete that one. Again, cross-functional is fine, but I need more than cross-functional. You can say in an agile environment across different teams or whatever. Carefully, don't say words like these. Crafted, maintainable UI components use ASP.NET and Blazor. I don't know if we need Blazor or not to ensure that my teammates can understand and modify. Like, it's the way you wrote these is kind of weird. And this is kind of my problem. It reads like the only thing you've done is communication, which is not terrible, but I want more. Like, I want to know a little bit more about it. So your bullet points are both at the same time sparse, and that they don't tell me enough information. No, that not both. They just don't tell me enough. I need a little bit more, right? Most people over explain. You went too far in the other direction. So, is this a garbage resume? No, but it has a good chunk of what I need. You just need to condense it and make these bullet points better. I think you could really do this in four bullet points. You should be able to put everything here together, and that should help you out. Now, again, you were there for less than, you're there for October, so this is okay, but you're probably not going to have a 1 in 20 or a 1 in 10, which, by the way, after people use my advice, they usually get, for every 7 applications, they get an interview. Just due to how short this contract or role is, I would say you probably won't ever get like a 1 in 7 with this, but we could probably get a 1 in 15, 1 in 25. You just need to expand these sentences a little bit more, and again, shrink them down. So they need to be more dense. I want denser ones. I want to sink my teeth into it. So that's all I can do for this resume. And again, we want to get you out of Night City. That is real bad. Real bad. That show was so good. I may have to rewatch that again. I love that show. And the game. I have not beaten it, though. But if anybody else ever needs any help, they can always join my live stream every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 11 a.m. PST on twitch.tv/headless Headhunter, every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I think I already said that. My mind is totally gone. And I want to thank you all for watching, liking, and commenting. I really do appreciate it. And thank you very much to my members. You get access to videos a little bit early, and you can join below. But to all of my current members, I did want to give from, thank you. Like, for real. I don't know how else to say it. Thank you very much for supporting me. It means a lot. Let's go to the next resume. This is a AGI software engineer. The problem is that's not actually a job title. And I know you're going to be like, what? But I looked this up, and there were only 3 companies that had this on LinkedIn, right? Like, if I can't find the job title for you, I cannot find these keywords. So you are not looking to be an AGI, right? This person says, I am a senior in undergrad, and I'm not getting any interviews at all. Yes, because there is no AGI software engineer role. Even Amazon, which is doing some of those roles, it's not really an Amazon, it's not a specific role. It's not an AGI engineer. It's an engineer that works with AGI, and there's other stuff. And you said, not sure if this is the ATS or human reviewer that's rejecting you. It's a human. It's a human, because the ATS does not reject you. If the ATS rejects you, the company would get sued, which is why there is actually a lawsuit on that. But for everybody at home, the ATS is not what you think. I posted a video about it. Maybe I could put it. I don't actually know how to add that to the video yet. I'm not that good at editing, but it's a title of a thing, and I made it. And honestly, that's not how ATSs work. So ATSs, let me explain. I'm so tired. It is a filing cabinet. Everybody thinks there's some kind of AI mastermind that is rejecting and analyzing and scanning. And the truth of the matter is, those 20 seconds I take at the beginning, that is it. Now that is what recruiters do, not the ATS. A human is rejecting you. Now, there are knockout questions, but knockout questions are decided upon by the recruiter, and it doesn't matter if a recruiter writes them in. If you do not have those questions, they will not move you forward because you do not have the qualifications. That is what a knockout question is. But as long as you apply faster than anybody else, you're going to get seen. The ATSs sort you in a first come, first serve basis. If a recruiter has 2,000 resumes they need to review, guess what? We review them in the order they came in until we find enough to fill up our schedule. So you're like, no human could review 10K resumes. Yeah, we don't. We review them in the order that you applied, and once we find enough to move forward, we stop. Because why would you? If you found 5 engineers, why would you need a 6 or a 7 until those 5 don't work out? So It's a human rejecting you, and a human is rejecting you because this is not a job title. I don't know what you actually want to do, because there are agentic AI engineers, there are like LLM engineers, there are software engineers, but the problem is this is not a job title. So I'm gonna need you to go back to the drawing board and find out a different job, quite frankly. And again, you can be a software engineer that works with AI. In fact, maybe that's something that you want me to put up here. So let me put that up real quick. So there are... Where's the AI one? My head. I'm delaying because it's going to take me a second to find it. So there is an AI engineer role. This is slightly outdated, but like this would be for AI, in which case I'd want AI, LLM, NLP, Python, TensorFlow, PyTorch, Cloud, NumPy, R, MATLAB, SD, LCC, ICD, DevOps, one of those. So again, this is where we put the AGI in. So RAG, that kind of stuff, and explaining stuff to non-technical folks. And if I look at your resume in 20 seconds, I don't think I'm going to be able to find those. Because this person has 150 plus to 1, which means it takes them over 150 applications to get an interview. So, can I find it? No, probably not. Where is this? And go. Okay, nothing here matters. Developed an iOS app. Okay, that could count. To an integrated AI in React Native. Don't care. Devised an agentic. That is good. AI tutor you already mentioned. OpenAI is fine. Don't care about student scores. Constructed two internal agentic. Okay, good. With Copilot. I don't care about file retrieving time. Build CI/CD is good. And that's it. So I've worked for AI startups before, and this would not pass. There is a bit of a misconception about what AI startups actually are looking for. And the real answer is they're looking for a software engineer with a bit of AI rather than an AI engineer with a bit of software engineering. So I want to see Python. I want to see TensorFlow. I want to see your basic, boring software engineer credentials with a garnish of AI. But all of these engineers put all of this stuff into AI, and the AI company is like, I want a software engineer first and an AI engineer second, and then they decline you. And I know that because I've had candidates get declined, and I've had candidates succeed, and the ones who succeed are the ones that have the software engineer first and an AI engineer second. Those are the ones that get it. They want a strong core engineer. And right now, even for an AI engineer role, you don't have enough stuff because nobody cares about 50K active users, right? Like, sometimes they do. Like, for AI, they do usually. So, for AI is one of the few times you want a number, and they want to know your active users. So, I will say for AI specifically, I'm going to take that back. 50K plus concurrent users may be something they want. But is that a total or concurrent? Because they want to know. But the rest of these numbers I don't care about, right? Built with 3,000 active users is not impressive enough for them to actually care. And then I don't care that it did the student scores. I don't care that it did 9,000 points or 11 internal. Again, the amount of users for an AI is a number you actually want. So that normally you don't want these random percentages and numbers in your resume, but for a software engineer that is going into AI, they do in fact want to see the volume of users you concurrently have. That is one of the exceptions to the no numbers rule in the obviously keep your work experience numbers. So, but like 9,000 points and retrieval time are garbage and they don't matter. This doesn't matter. This doesn't matter. So yeah, most of your resume just does not matter. And again, I need you to go back to the drawing board and pick a job title that actually has jobs available, because it doesn't matter if you are the most perfect curtain hanger, right? You're the best curtain hanger in the world if there are no jobs for curtain hanging. And right now, there are no jobs for AGI software engineer. It's a single Amazon thing that they posted to 50 states and 2 other companies. So that's why you're getting rejected. Next resume. This is actually not fully sure. So they did not state buyer or procurement. That was actually not what they wrote to me. What they wrote was operations and supply chain roles. The problem is you would need a different resume for the vast majority of them. If you're doing procurement, you can use the same resume for buyer roles, right? That's fine. But if you're doing like operations, then that's a little bit different. If you're doing, there's a bunch of other stuff. In management, it's a little different. So if you're doing analyst, that's a little different. So the problem is this person was not specific. So the best thing I can do is look at this as a buyer procurement angle, but it's entirely probable that they are not actually looking to be a buyer or procurement specialist. So please, please, please make sure I can find these. If I cannot find these, you are hurting yourself. I need to be able to find them. So what we need is industry, supply chain, supplier relations, organization, Microsoft Office, Excel, Word, Outlook, Gmail, timeline development, meets deadlines, probably also Power BI and VLOOKUP kind of stuff too. That would be beneficial to have, but that's kind of it. So this person stated, wow, yeah, they have 0 interviews. So they said 100 plus to 1. 150 plus to 1. So this is a bad resume. So let's see what I can find, if any, assuming they actually are a buyer procurement. And again, they may not be. And go. Okay, nothing here matters. This is good, but you wrote it incorrectly. Establish the firm's operational foundations, implement standard workflows to scalable. Okay, nothing there. Whoop, too much. Design dashboards. Okay, that's okay. I don't care about the turnaround time. Balancing. Okay, this gives me nothing. Spearhead a checklist, different workloads, like reducing workload and liquidating backlog. Okay, now maybe the backlog is needed. Okay, so that's it. Yeah, this is bad. This has nothing I need. Also, to be clear, you should not have a summary. The only times you should have anything up here, anything at all, is if you are relocating, if you are changing industries, and I mean changing from procurement to dental assistant, right? Not getting a new job or getting a new thing. It's specifically that like big of a difference. Or alternatively, you are explaining a visa. The only 3 reasons that you want to actually have a summary up there, and you don't need to put summary, you just state what you did. Otherwise, you can just leave it blank. It's not needed. The education, you had it correctly, but again, the formatting you need to use is this. This is the best formatting. If you notice, this looks different than this. This should not be all bolded. See? The only things that you should ever bold in your resume is your name, this section header, and again, if you have a projects, you will do that down here as that section header as well. That's it. So the only things that should ever be bolded in your resume. The link to this is in the description below. But yeah, this has nothing. But let me read what you wrote. The problem is now I'm not an expert in any field and my master's degree is more vague, so I'm not getting any interview calls at all. I think I can go into operations, supply chain, process engineering, maybe project management. Those are different resumes. If you use the same resume for each of those, you will fail. You need a separate resume for each of those. Your resume needs to be tailored to the job title or group of job titles that you want. And again, so a supply chain, so a procurement analyst or procurement specialist and a buyer can use the same resume, but a buyer and a process engineer cannot. I wanted to be a consultant, but I think I'm not going to get the job in that. I just don't know what role to even target. You need to pick one before you send it to me. I wish I could tell you based on your resume you need to target X roles, but that's not how it works. I can't. I can only say based on this resume you are qualified or not qualified. You cannot decide what you're qualified for based on your what you think you should do based on the resume. So you need to be able to pick it before you send it in to me, and I'm sorry, that's where my help starts. You need to pick the role first. Okay. Currently supplying to supply chain and operation roles, some strategy product. I'm really at my wit's end. Haven't gotten a single interview, and I'm on an OPT, so I have work off for 3 years. Yeah. You need to pick what you want to do, and then you want to tailor the resume towards that, because right now even a good OPT resume is going to get you 1 in 30 to 1 in 100. Like, those are your best ratios that you're going to get. The problem is, even if you were a US citizen and everything, this resume would get you rejected almost as much. This has nothing in it that I need. I need you to pick it. It needs to be tailored to a job title. It goes for everybody. If it's not tailored to a job title, your resume is worthless. It has to be. And I wish I could tell you, hey, Mr. Confused, what you should do is X and Y, but I can't, because I don't know what you're good at, because the resume does not show that. So once you figure out what you want to do, then send it to me, and then I can help you make a resume for that. But I can't really help with this right now. So next, resume. This is a full stack software engineer. So this person stated they are self-taught, so I'm not going to see education, so it shouldn't be up at the top. And what we need for a full stack is degree, TypeScript, JavaScript, CSS, HTML, React, Node.js, Angular, Next.js, SQL or NoSQL, RESTful APIs, Cloud, CI/CD, Git, .NET or Python or Java, and a bonus points for any of that stuff. So 20 seconds on the clock. Can I find it? Maybe. This person said they had a 1 in 50, which is pretty solid, especially for a self-taught dev. Like, usually my advice gets people a 1 in 7, so for every 7 applications, they get 1 interview. Self-taught devs would be a little bit more than that, just because a CS degree is valuable. But a 1 in 50 for a self-taught dev is pretty solid. I think it's instead of a C minus, a C. So I'm expecting to find stuff that I need, but I could find more and better. So 20 seconds on the clock, and go. Okay, programming language include, I need to know why you did this. Design RESTful API using Node and Django. Okay, database experience. No, don't write it like that. Deployment using Docker and a bunch of, okay. Wait, okay, this is garbage. Don't include this at all. Developed the data visualization web app to opportunity for deployment using, okay, good. Developed pipelines for Google Sheets. Okay, so here's the problem. I didn't even notice this first because I've never seen it done like this. You do not want to ever put a skills section. No skills section. Skills section bad. Nothing in this section should count, so it doesn't count, so please do not have it. Your resume needs to start down here. If you do not have your experience in your work experience, then you need to put it in a project. But never, ever, ever, ever do this because I cannot use things here. Okay? It needs to start with your professional experience or your projects or your internships. But this is confusing and it's bad. So don't do it. Because remember, it's what you did, which you did say, how you did it, which you did say, the reason and result of you doing it, which you didn't, and where you did it. And because you do not have the where, this entire section does not count. So you may have to put projects. Because again, you need to show where you did it. Self-taught, trying to break into software development. Again, that's fine. You're going to have a hard time. But so now we go down to the actual bullet points that matter. So, develop the data visualization web app to provide data-driven decisions for the purchasing department using GoData. Okay, that's actually really good. My only complaint about this is, again, you want your tech stack in the first, like, half of the bullet point. So I want you to say, developed a web app using JavaScript, HTML, CSS, Go, and D3. Although, I'll be honest, I don't know if you really need D3 and Go. You might need Go. I've seen it once or twice, but I don't think you need D3. So again, this should be in the first half. Otherwise, the sentence is perfect. That's actually a really good sentence. Develop software to automatically pipe data from NetSuites to Google Sheets. It's not bad, but again, it's not what I'm looking for. This part should be at the end of it. These need to be switched. So I want you to say, develop the software using Python, Pandas, SQL, and Docker to pipe data from NetSuites to Google Sheets while performing data transforms to present relevant KPIs, right? So remember, I want the actual keywords need to be in the first half of the bullet point. But beyond that, how you wrote that is pretty good. So again, this is not a bad. This is still actually not a terrible resume. Like, just because you wasted this whole spot up here, that's not good, but actually these bullet points are very good. So good job so far in these actual bullet points. It's really funny because you wrote these like garbage, but you wrote these really great. All right, performed ad hoc reports and data cleaning on sales using, again, you already mentioned this stuff up here, so nothing in here matters. So you should delete this because you only want to mention the same keyword once per job. You can mention it in multiple jobs, right? So data job 1 and job 2, you can mention Python, but you don't want to mention Python 2 to 3 to 4 times in the same role unless you're forced to. Every once in a while, you're going to have a bullet point that just won't make sense without repeating a keyword, and that's fine. You just want to avoid it when you can. Created reports and dashboards and oracles, resource. Again, you already mentioned this. I like this part of it, stakeholders, but again, the rest of it doesn't matter. Created a customer stats for year-end rat marketing using Python, SQLs, and Panda. Again, you already mentioned those, right? You already mentioned those. Those are good. I want those, but you already mentioned those in the first sentence. Develop the vendors using repeat apps in the customer Astro Superbase Denver. I don't think that. Well, that was a very thick line. I don't think there's anything in this sentence that they would look for. So you wrote it almost right, but again, I don't think the actual keywords are there. Developed an AI application to clean new customer lead data. That's fine. Collected Python. Again, you already mentioned Python. You already mentioned this. You already mentioned this. You did not mention how you did this, so this does not count. Remember, the how you did it is important. You can't just say, I explain concepts. Cool. How did you do it? So, again, this is not bad, but you really only have, like, 2 bullet points here, and this is going to be the real problem, because, like, where's TypeScript, right? Where's Java? You do have JavaScript. Where's TypeScript? In fact, I'm going to remove the things that you do have. Because remember, you need 75% of these. Okay, you don't have a degree, but you already mentioned that, so that's fine. Where is the React? Where is the Node, the Angular, the Next? I don't see it. You did have SQL. That's good. I think you had RESTful APIs. No, you didn't. Where's the APIs? You did have .NET, Python, and Java, and you had a little bit of AI. So again, I need Cloud, I need CI/CD, I need Git, I need RESTful or REST APIs, I need React or React.js, I need Node, Angular, Next.js, and TypeScript if you have it. So it's not terrible. It's just you're missing. You're right on the edge of having enough qualifications, but you need just a smidge more. But overall, once you have your good bullet points are good. It's just you kind of bury them in a bunch of unnecessary information. So we're going to need more things. But yeah, next, resume. This is a machine learning engineer. So for a machine learning engineer, or we want to see degree, machine learning the very first time, and then parentheses ML. Yes, you need to do it. If I see a machine learning engineer and you do not put ML, you are probably not going to move forward. So LLMs, OpenAI, Claude, Llama, LangChain, etc. There's more than that. I just need to see a few. You don't have to list them all. ML Ops, CI/CD, containerization, Kubernetes, Cloud, any of them work. SQL, ML frameworks, PyTorch, TensorFlow, Skibbity-learn. I know it's scikit-learn. I like saying Skibbity-learn. You cannot stop me from saying Skibbity-learn. Python, R, Cloud, ML pipelines, NLP. Influencing cross-functional teams and explaining complex topics. That is huge. For a big chunk of these roles, your job is to be the subject matter expert. And if your job is to be the subject matter expert at a role, you need to explain complex topics. It is entirely likely, and in fact, part of your job is going to explain to somebody what an ML pipeline is to somebody that has trouble writing an email. And I'm not using that as a joke. I'm being serious. You will have to talk with those people. You will have to explain people that cannot write an email, that do not know how to open Outlook, that do not know how to Control-C, Control-V on a Word doc or Excel, what an ML pipeline is. That is something you need to show in your resume. Then I want production-grade ML systems from start to finish. You can also use architecture, but I think the word systems is a little bit more meta than architecture, even though they're the same thing. So, and 0 to 1. So, can I find this in 20 seconds? No, this is 150, so there's something critically wrong with this resume. Again, you never want to have your resume be over 150 applications to interviews. That's always a bad sign. So, let's see what's wrong with this resume and go. Okay, formatting solid. That's good. Degree is good. Led development of code chat, a conversational AI agent. For Python and LangChain, that's okay. Build RAG pipelines by semantically chunking code. Don't care. Retrieving relevant code database resulting in accurate understanding. Okay, it's not really relevant. Implemented Vinecone, whatever. Blah, 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 blah. GitHub is okay. There's just not enough here. Engineered AWS, and that is time. See. Yeah, so you just didn't have enough stuff that I wanted. And again, where's machine learning? You stated you're a machine learning engineer. I don't see it. Where's anything that involves machine learning? Where's machine learning? Did I miss it? There it is, all the way down on nearly the second page. All right, there's a huge problem right there. You also wrote how you got the data, not what you did with the data, and that is really more important. But let me read what you wrote. Applied to more than 300 companies and only gotten 4 interviews with no offers. Okay, so this is not 150 then. That's not how that works. This is probably closer to a 75 to 100 to 1. Depends on how that more is doing a lot of lifting in the sentence of more than 300 companies if this is 150. Doing quite a bit of heavy lifting. So what is good about this resume? Formatting is perfect, fantastic, love it, no complaints. But formatting is only part of the battle. I would rather have a resume have bad formatting and good bullet points than vice versa. And your bullet points are kind of bad. They're not like the worst ever, but they're not great. So what we're missing, let's go through here and find what we're missing. So first off, we have the degree. Good. First off, most critically, you do not show anything related to machine learning. Where is the machine learning? You are a machine learning engineer. I need to see it. Where is the ML? And I want you to write machine learning. Okay, you know what? It should be written just like I put it up here. It should be machine learning, parentheses ML, for the very first time you write it, and then you can write it as ML. So that is, I'm getting distracted by writing this. Where's the machine learning? That is the first critical misinformation that you do not have. Second off, your first sentence, led development and implementation of code chat. That's fine. A conversational AI agent for a code basis using Python and LangChain. I just need more than Python and LangChain, and I will I hate saying this, but this reads like a chatbot, and chatbots are not looked upon favorably in the AI space. So you want to try to show it that's not just a chatbot, because again, it's not. It is a project, and that's okay. But again, chatbots are not as looked up. But I need more, right? Like where, and again, when you're doing tech, I need this stuff here. So I want to say led the. Also, wait, was this a project? Okay, led the development. Oh, here, sorry. This is also. I'm so tired. You do not want these in the same section. You want work experience and internships in the same section. So it should just say work experience. But then you want a separate section for projects. So down here it should be projects, right? No one ever said my art was good. So projects should be a separate section down here. You do not want to have these both together, so this is bad. So this is only going to be work experience, because they could get confused otherwise. So we are putting our projects down below in a different section, okay? So for work experience, led the development implementation of code chat using machine learning blank and Python, LangChain, and cloud or something, right? I need more. You need 3 to 6 in your first sentence, and while AI can count as this as an AI agent, I need to see machine learning, because I don't see a single thing that shows machine learning in this, right? Then we go down to here, build a RAG pipeline by semantically chunking code. That is a bad, like, what is that? That doesn't matter. That does not matter. Semantically chunking code does not matter. That's not what we're looking for. Like, build a RAG pipeline is fine, right? But the rest of this isn't. So I'm going to need an actual bullet point that shows what you did with it and some other tools. So building a RAG pipeline is fine, but what you wrote here does not count. Implemented vector database, blah, 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 blah. Nothing here is needed except GitHub. And again, while GitHub is needed, you need to have more than one keyword per sentence. You need approximately 3 minimum, 6 maximum. So this should be set up to, I don't know, maybe move this here into this bullet point. And then engineered AWS. AWS should probably be in your first bullet point. Cloud is huge. You want to show cloud. AWS should probably be in your first bullet point. Engineered a AWS Lambda as a serverless backend. And then, again, that's it. I don't care about Pinecone. Like, maybe it's one of the tools that I would care about, but you don't need to keep repeating it. So, besides AWS, nothing else in here matters. Then we go down to here, blah, blah, blah. Okay, nothing here that I need. Develop me for some other model. that's okay to pre-facilitated by training hours, but nothing else in this bullet point is needed. So again, your resume is formatted perfectly, but again, your bullet points are bad. Built and maintained CI/CD pipeline usage like Jenkins and GitHub Actions, automate data ingestion, deployment of machine learning. There we go. Finally, first time we mentioned machine learning and a machine learning engineer at the very bottom of the first page where no one's going to go there because they have to go through all this other stuff. You actually really wrote this bullet point well. Is there anything I can do to improve the Jenkins? Yeah. Maybe add one other keyword to this, but, and I actually here. So add one other keyword to this if you can. Right? But this is what I like. Build and maintain CI/CD pipelines using XYZ GitHub Actions. That's good. And then we can go down to here for our deployment of machine learning workloads resulting in faster iterations and cycles. I don't care about this stuff down here. The automate data ingestion transformation is not as critical. The rest of it is. So this is why you're having problem is your resume's bullet points is bad. And you have honestly practically nothing in the bullet points. You have some of it, which is that's the entire reason you're getting like a 1 in 100 to a 1 in 50 is just that those are the bullet points that are saving you. The ones in the green and the ones that I probably should highlight it. So this is saving you. This is saving you. This is saving you. This is okay and we need a little bit more, but is ultimately saving you. So if you need to add more stuff because the bullet points matter more than the formatting. Formatting's perfect. You don't need to change it. Bullet points matter the most. So that's all I can do for this resume, and that's it for this video. I want to thank you all for watching. Thank you for liking, commenting, and subscribing. It really helps a small creator like me. I really do appreciate it, and thank you very much to my members. They get access to videos a little bit early. You can join in the link below. I just, again, thank you for supporting me. I really appreciate it, and if anybody needs any more help, they can always join my live stream every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 11 a.m. PST at twitch.tv/headlessheadhunter. And I will see you in the next video where I hopefully have gotten some sleep because I am very loopy today and I need to go to bed. I am so tired, y'all. But I will see you all in the next video.